What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Chaotic the King, man, coming at you with my first trucking vlog video. I just recently started my company about over 2 months ago. It's been a little over 60 days, and when I say a little over 60 days, I mean probably 26, 29, 30, 1, 2. It's been 66 days. It's been 66 days since I started my trucking company. And with that being said, I wanted my first video to be about how I got into the trucking game. So we're gonna go back to like 2008, 2009, when the economy just tanked. Before that, I was doing a job that I hated, but the pay was so good, right? It was making rail cars and automotive carrier cars for railroads, for trains, you know, stuff like that. Anyways, I was pretty much building the cars, come home dirty, filthy every day. Every day I said I wanted to quit this job too. And it's like, I never did quit, because every Friday when I got paid, the check was so good, you know what I'm saying? So I just kept my nose in the wind, and I just kept doing the job. Again, I hated that job. And excuse the noise if you hear in the background. That's my APU going while I am trying to keep cool in this place while they load me up. So anyway, hating that job, wanted to do something else, but at the same time, I love the pay, so I was still hanging in there. Anyways, the economy started to tank. It just went downhill, right? So there were talks of people getting laid off in my company, and they actually did start doing a layoff. They were doing layoffs like groups or sections at a time, right? Which was pretty damn crazy. So, you know, just working, going to work. As I'm going to work, I'm seeing less and less people there. Next thing you know, my time came up. Me and my group's time had hit. It was time for them to let us go. So when they let us go, which was horrible, because I was like, man, what am I going to do now? I'm staying in a little small town. You know, one of them small towns that where there's just that company that everybody works at. So yeah, I was hanging out in there. That was in Cartersville, Georgia, in case you kind of wanted to know, right? But yeah, I just went home. You know, they gave me a severance package, which was kind of cool. And then next thing you know, I had got a letter in the mail saying that they wanted to meet up with me and, of course, you know, everybody else. But basically, they wanted us to come to like a community center. And going into the community center, what they wanted us to do was fill out some paperwork, because what had happened was, because the economy went so downhill or whatever, whatnot, companies overseas bought all the work for our company out, right? So we didn't have any work to do, because it was just nothing else. They bought all the work. So anyway, not trying to drag the story, but what happened was I ended up going to the community center on the day that they want us there, and because of what had happened, the government stepped in. The feds actually stepped in and helped people out, right? Who go figure. But what they wanted to do was, because of what we did was a trade, that they wanted us to go to school and learn another trade, and the government was going to pay for it. So they were paying us unemployment on top of paying for our schooling to learn a new trade. So the first thing that I said was, man, what can I learn that is a good trade to get into? So I don't know, started looking through the pamphlet. I saw CDL, so I figured that, just checking my life, because I don't get how this guy who got here after me is loaded and I'm still waiting to be loaded. So anyway, looking through the pamphlet, I saw that they were not hiring. Looking through the pamphlet, I saw CDL, Class A. So I figure, you know, and I was also a single dad at the time, raising my 2 boys. And I just figured I'd just go get my CDL so that I can go ahead and just get a job and, you know, just start driving. Something easy, shouldn't be too hard to do or whatever, whatnot. So end up going to school, And of course, remember I told you the government paid for it. Actually was the top of my class. Go figure, right? Go believe that. Well, actually, it's not a go figure, go believe that. Because I'm pretty smart and I have been driving. Even though I haven't driven a tractor trailer, I still say that I'm a pretty good driver. So I was able to get into it, even though the truck was a stick shift, right? I think it was like a 18 speed. That's what the school was putting us in. But nevertheless, got into it, learned how to drive, and during those times in the course, they have recruiters come by and try to recruit you out of school. So recruiters came by, and of course they want you to do what? Go over the road. So I never wanted to go over the road. I had to stay home because I was a single dad raising my boys, so I couldn't go over the road. And I was trying to find local work, and then they were like, well, you can't find any local work because you need at least a year of over the road experience. So even though I had got my CDL and I was ready to hit the road, I never did hit the road. Remember, this was 2008, 2009. So I ended up going back to school after I got my CDL. I went back to school for management. Well, let me take that back. It was actually for automotive technology. So I got my degree in automotive technology. But with that being said, I hate working on anybody's car except for my own. But my goal was to actually get into management, and just, work my way from the bottom all the way up to the top. So without making it too much longer, I end up getting a job at Nally Acura while I was in school earning my degree as an oil technician. And man, I just basically was bouncing around, not to say job for jobs per se, but for advancements, because I never wanted to be an oil tech. So I ended up being an oil tech for a while. Went to Firestone, became actual automotive technician, and then working my way up from there. I went from automotive technician to going to AutoZone and becoming let me go back. I went to Pep Boys, was an automotive technician there, and then from there I went to service manager. From there I went to AutoZone and became a assistant manager. So basically I was on my way to earning my own, having my own store by becoming a manager, which is basically what I wanted to do, get into management. So while working at AutoZone, I actually was approached by a company who were basically an office job. We're talking corporate America now. So I ended up being offered a job in corporate America, and we're going to skip a little bit of it, but same job. I was there for about 5-6 years, ended up becoming an accounts manager, and everything was just all good. I mean, pay great, vacation great, shirt and tie Monday through Thursday, dress down on Friday, the whole nine, loving every minute of it, right? But through all the years that has passed, because now we're talking 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I think we're talking about 8 years later. So 2016, 17, something like that. I've always had my CDL. Through the times that I've misplaced my license and I had to go and get it, losing my license and then having to go and get another license, they would say, you want to keep your CDL on there? I would say yes. When my license was expired and I had to get another one, they would always say, do you want to keep your CDL license on there? And I always kept it, right? Mind you, I've not driven a truck for like 8 years or so. I'm trying to make this story short, guys. I'm leaving out a lot of detail, but if you got any questions or anything, just leave down in the comments, whatever your questions are, concerns, or whatever whatnots. But anyways, I did end up being laid off. They too gave me a severance package, and by then my kids were pretty much they both went to the military too. Both went to the Marines. It was time for me to utilize my CDL, right? So now we're talking, I did take some time off, and I ended up getting a CDL job with a cement company, driving a cement truck. Never had any experience, but as long as you had a CDL, they were willing to train. So I ended up going to drive that truck. I drove for them for probably about 6 months. Then I went to another company called E.B. Brown. Now, what I didn't know was that the cement trucks, all you need is a Class B to drive that. But since I went in with a Class A, that's basically what I put on my application when I went to E.B. Brown. But with E.B. Brown and with the interview, right? So, you know, a cement truck is basically just like one little unit, right? It's not like you're pulling a tanker or a trailer or anything like that. So I went to E.B. Brown, did my interview, did pretty good. Then you had to do the the drive, right? They had to see the driving portion. Now, believe it or not, even though I haven't driven a tractor or a trailer in all those years, I wasn't scared to drive the tractor and trailer. So I drove it, did almost excellent, right? The road course, but riding on the roads and everything, I did great. The issue happened when they had me to back the truck into the dock. End up trying to back the truck into the dock, and man, I couldn't back up for shit. You hear me? My backing skills they weren't even there. It was horrible. But they end up giving me a job anyway, right? Because when you're doing that type of job with E.B. Brown, you don't have to back into the dock until the end of the day. For the most part, you're delivering groceries to grocery stores and gas stations and stuff like that. So from there, I was at E.B. Brown. Ended up getting robbed at gunpoint because they carried cigarettes. So that was a high commodity there, right? They end up, I end up getting robbed like, man, 3 or 4 times at gunpoint. And at that point, I just couldn't take it anymore. So ended up leaving E.B. Brown. Then I went and drive for McLean. And McLean basically did the same thing, but they delivered to stores and restaurants, right? But I didn't have to do that part. What I did was the backhaul and shuttle runs. So I just go bring the stuff in for the warehouse, keep the warehouse stocked up, and that was basically about it for that. I did that for, I don't know, man, probably about 3, 4, 5 months. After that, I got a call from an owner-operator, right? And with the owner-operator, he offered me a job being home every day, right? Oh, let me mind you, when I started utilizing my CDL, I never had to go over the road. I've always been able to make it home every day. So the guy gave me a call, not really paying much, but you know, it was driving a tractor, driving a trailer, being able to hone in my skills, just, you know, get the perfection down, even though I was already there. Don't get me wrong, I already was backing into the hole and everything by then. Dude, I can't believe this guy's gone and I was here before him. What the So anyways, basically, he offered me a job. I was able to make it home. The pay was steady. It was a salary type. It was a salary type deal. You know, I get paid the same thing every week. So I actually drove for this guy for over a year. Then I said to myself, if I'm driving for an owner-operator, which this guy never drove a truck a day in his life, never. He bought trucks. Actually, I was his 3rd driver ever, and he had just started a company probably about less than a month prior. But he started with 1 truck. Business was so good that he bought another truck, and business so good that he bought my truck. So I ended up driving for this guy for about a year. So between the time that I started driving with him to the time that I left driving with him, this guy had about 10 trucks. With that being said, I just felt that I wanted to just get my own truck and do my own thing. If everything was going so good and so well for this guy, especially during the pandemic where everything closed down, jobs were hard to find, but this guy still kept buying trucks. I said to myself, I want to buy me a truck and I want to do my own thing as well, right? So basically, that's where I am now. I bought my truck, I bought a trailer, and I'm out here doing my own thing. And yeah, man, I mean, I've only been driving for about, I don't know, 3, 4, like I said before, 3 or 4 years, and I'm out here doing my own thing. And I am pretty much regional, but I am home daily. I take weekends off, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. And just gonna put everything together and make this company grow. And I want you guys to just follow along with me. Let me know what you think. If you got any opinions, any questions, anything you want to know, and any advice that can be given, give it to me. With that being said, this is my first video. I know it's long and I kind of been rambling, and there's a lot of stuff that you probably missed because I've been so rudely interrupted. But you know, that's the nature of the business, right? When the phone rings, you got to answer it, especially being your own solo owner operator. But thanks for checking out the video. I will be uploading more. Let me know what you guys think, and I appreciate it. And I am out.